దసరా నవరాత్రి శుభాకాంక్షలు. ఈరోజు అష్టలక్ష్మి సిరీస్లో నేను చేస్తున్న లాస్ట్ ఎపిసోడ్ గజలక్ష్మి. ఈ కేటగిరీలో ఈరోజు నాతో ఉన్నారు స్మితా సబర్వాల్, IAS ఆఫీసర్ అండ్ సెక్రటరీ ఫైనాన్స్ కమిషన్ తెలంగాణ స్టేట్. వెన్ షీఈ్ ఇన్ పవర్, షీఈ్ మోస్ట్ పవర్ఫుల్. అండ్ ఆ పవర్ని షీ యూజెస్ ఇన్ ద రైట్ వే, ఇన్ ద రైట్ మేనర్, ఇన్ అ కన్స్ట్రక్టివ్ వే. సో లెట్ us know how can power be used in the right manner. So Gajalakshmi antene it's a symbol of power. So she is in the position of power. Let us talk to Smita Sabharwal on my special series Jayathi, celebrating the power of women. Hi Smita.
Hi Prema.
How are you? After
Long
10
time.
years I'm back.
Long time.
Yes.
Good to see you.
You have grown in your job, in your career. Your kids have grown.
Yeah. Kids have
Everything
grown.
has grown.
I know. We've grown older also.
Yeah, and wiser.
And wiser. Today is a beautiful day. It's a Durgashtami. So, మీ అందరికీ దుర్గాష్టమి, బతుకమ్మ, దుర్గా పూజ, నవరాత్రి శుభాకాంక్షలు నా తరఫు నుంచి.
Nice. With power comes responsibility అంటారు. అది ఎంతవరకు మీరు మీ వ్యక్తిగత జీవితంలో, మీ ప్రొఫెషనల్ లైఫ్లో మనసా వాచా చూశారు, ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయ్యారు?
Power is a perception, Prema. Frankly, I'm a little, I would say, not cut in the ordinary, from the ordinary cloth. I would like to put it that way. I have never viewed power as an external thing, right? Since my childhood. I think thanks to my upbringing, thanks to certain deep subconscious experiences which I had as a child, especially coming from the military background. To me, power has never been an external experience. It is very much within me. I think I was always very powerful. Even as a child, I had my own sense of, importance or own sense of purpose. As I grow older and the more and more clarity we get of life's experiences, I have felt that at every stage in my life, if it was an opportunity, to me that was I saw that as a powerful medium to do something, to achieve something. So it's never been to me an external thing that, and in fact when people say that, of course now no longer, it's so sweet of you to say that powerful and all, but in terms of work, maybe the work that I'm doing right now is not considered to be technically in a very powerful position. But I do feel a sense of purpose, and I think that has always been my constant.
చాలా మందికి ఒక ఒపీనియన్ ఉంది, అధికారం చేతిలో ఉంటే దాన్ని దుర్వినియోగపరచుకోవడానికి ఎక్కువ మంది ఉంటారని. The most of the people want to misuse power.
You have access to so many opportunities.
Exactly. సో ఎప్పుడైనా ఇలాంటి ఒక యాక్సెస్ టు ఆపర్చునిటీ, ఎప్పుడైనా ఇలాంటి ఒక అవకాశం మీకు దొరికినప్పుడు మీ కాన్షియస్ ఏం చెప్తూ ఉండేది స్మిత? ఒక్కసారి మనం అడగము, మన దగ్గరకు వస్తుంటాయి opportunities to misuse.
I mean, I don't know. It's a very complex question, but I would maintain that it's all about your upbringing. If you feel that you have had a very wholesome, very beautiful childhood, where what is opportunity? It could be the opportunity to make money, the opportunity to become more and more, maybe influential in society. If you already believe that you are your own person, that there is nothing lacking in you. And honestly, I know it sounds a little funny, but maybe I'm delusional. I think since I was a child, I've always felt very complete. The need to be validated by the world, the need to seek people's validation, or to say that, because you're dressed well, so you have arrived in life, or because you're sitting in a powerful seat, so therefore we look up to you. Those things have never really mattered or motivated me. What motivates me is when people say that, she's doing good work. That truly motivates me. If I get an opportunity to do good work for people, and if one person at the end of the day feels I was able to help them because I am an IAS officer, to me that is power. So I'm a bit idealistic, so pardon me for that, but that's how I am wired. In fact, being secretary to CM for a whole decade, I did not feel very powerful. I always felt that I am a shadow entity whose basic job role is to provide good policy inputs, is to provide good support to the leadership by keeping them grounded with the field realities and telling them about the daily issues which people are facing. It was never about me or about me feeling powerful. That's not the way I at least perceived it.
Okay.
And in fact, sometimes when you're not in such important positions, you're free to actually exercise your potential, free to experiment, free to be more yourself. So I'm feeling more powerful now, frankly. Yeah.
10 ఏళ్ళు మీరు చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ ఆఫీసులో ఉన్నారు వెన్ బీఆర్ఎస్ వాజ్ ఇన్ పవర్.
Yes.
సో ఆ టైంలో క్లోజ్గా చాలా అబ్జర్వ్ చేశారు. అప్పుడప్పుడే అన్ని స్కీమ్స్, కొత్త స్కీమ్స్ రావటం విత్ రిగార్డ్స్ టు తెలంగాణ, వెదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మిషన్ భగీరథ, మిషన్ కాకతీయ, ఆర్ షీ టీమ్స్ ఆర్ వాట్ ఎవర్, చాలా ఇనిషియేటివ్స్ తీసుకున్నారు కదా. క్లోజ్డ్ సర్కిల్లో అన్ని చూసారు కదా. విచ్ వాజ్ ద మోస్ట్ ఛాలెంజింగ్ ఆర్ మోస్ట్ యువర్ బేబీ టైప్ ఆఫ్ స్కీమ్ అంటే ఏం చెప్తారు? విచ్ యూ పుట్ యువర్ మైండ్, హార్ట్ అండ్ సోల్ అండ్ యూజ్ దట్ పవర్ to reach people.
The previous chief minister was extremely concerned about women and child nutrition. So I think in my thought process, I would believe that the kit which was given,
KCR
it was to be called KCR kit, and the Nutri kit, things like the breakfast scheme, these were all tuned to improving the daily lives of women and children. And they are the actual 50% of the people that we are serving. And they are the next generation. So to me, it was more satisfying when those little inputs and those little, actually I read about it from Tamil Nadu, read about it from various studies. And I would put together lots of logical arguments to convince the leadership. And I felt very blessed when most of the ideas were taken in a good spirit. And I would personally have the best memory of maternal and child kit, the KCR kit, the Nutri kit, which was meant to help pregnant women during those 9 months to take care of their nutritional deficiencies. So those kind of policy input, I believe, are the real outcomes of me enjoying that powerful platform.
Yes. So you said that most cherishing was KCR kits. What is the most challenging?
The lack of having one domain or one department. So as you know, that the CMO secretary is supposed to look after multiple domains. And we are dealing with a lot of different things. You're dealing with projects, you're dealing with water infrastructure, you could be dealing with health and nutrition. So the need to constantly update yourself to learn about the latest good practices, that is challenging. And also I didn't confine myself to sitting in Hyderabad. I think in those 10 years I moved around quite a bit on the field. I didn't lose the field connect. I kind of treasure that tag that I enjoy, the people's officer. So I was trying very hard to stay connected to the field. So I would definitely say that I am one of the few officers across the history of many chief minister offices who was constantly traveling to the field and constantly meeting people, talking to my department staff, talking to the collectors, talking to public representatives, and of course the andartho Gram Panchayatilo. I used to sit for Gram Sabhas. I used to, interact with the public very freely. So that to me was, of course, not a challenge. It was part of the job. But I feel very proud that I didn't lose that connect. So but if you're asking in terms of challenging, I think the need to keep updating yourself and across different domains. So what normally a secretary would do for 2 years or 3 years, I was doing 10 of those jobs simultaneously, and also dealing with senior people. Dealing with people who are senior to you in the hierarchy. Some have very fragile egos. On a lighter note. So, maintaining the professional balance. So it was a lot of a human job, a human skill, a communication. Many facets to being, in the CMO. It's not just about wielding the stick and saying, okay, I want this done by tomorrow. It doesn't work like that.
Smita, general ga cinema actor laki titles istaru. Mega star, super star. I think bureaucracy lo mottam, I think you are the first officer who got a people's officer. How does it make you feel?
Great sense of responsibility. Sometimes you always question whether you're doing enough to deserve any title. Of course, this is it. I think this originated when I was a district collector long back. I am Karimnagar. And then Medak, and maybe Warangal also little bit time I was in the field. So these titles originated then. I'm trying still very hard to keep up and not disappoint the people who with so much pride gave me that honor. So to me, it's a sense of honor, it's a sense of pride. In some of the down moments when you're questioning whether it's all worth it, these are those little things which remind you that, people trust you. People, they adore you for certain qualities that you bring to the job. And you must keep going.
So, Smita, if you remember, 14 years back, మనం ఫస్ట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేసినప్పుడు అప్పుడే అవుట్లుక్ మ్యాగజైన్లో మీ ఆ ఫోటో రావడం, ఆ కామెంట్, దాని మీద మనం వీ హ్యాడ్ అ వెరీ 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 ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాన్వర్జేషన్ అండ్ డిస్కషన్ ఆన్ దాట్ యాజ్ టు హౌ విమెన్ ఆర్ టార్గెటెడ్. చాలా ఈజీ ఒక విమెన్ ఒక మాట అనేసి అట్లా వదిలేయటం అనేది చాలా సింపుల్. సో బీయింగ్ ఇన్ పవర్ ఫర్ సచ్ లాంగ్ టైమ్, ఇప్పుడు ఐ థింక్ 25 years if I'm not wrong.
24, yeah.
ఎప్పుడైనా బీయింగ్ అ ఉమెన్ అండ్ దట్ టు అ ఉమెన్ ఇన్ పవర్, వాజ్ ఇట్ a problem when you were actually dealing or tackling or handling your job?
Well, if I go back and try to trace the journey, when we were very young, when we started out as freshly, recruited fellows and from the academy, and being a woman then was a sense of, I would say, it was a great advantage, because when you went to the villages, you interacted with people, they automatically connect with a woman in authority. We were sub-collectors, we were joint collectors, and definitely I would see a lot more connection on the field when I would go to the villages. I think they feel that a woman carries a sense of empathy with her, and in the early years I truly enjoyed the fact that I was an IAS officer and a woman. And that gave me a little extra edge to be able to connect and for people to come back and relate their narratives. Some would just come to say thank you for some small thing that you have done, and I always believed that they look up to you or they treat you as somebody, as part of the family, maybe a mother, a sister, a friend or whatever. Yes, as the career progression grew, I suddenly realized it was not a very, welcoming world where a sense of power is perceived around a woman. And that power comes from her achievements, not because of any other perception, but the fact that she is known to be somebody who delivers, somebody who knows her mind, somebody who's quite strong internally and doesn't need the validation of the whole world to get her to do her job. That is viewed as a threat. And honestly speaking, till I was a pretty, quite a delusional character for a long time, I didn't really believe that anybody thinks that way. But then slowly I realized with time that yes, there is definitely a sense of threat which a powerful woman gives out. And it could be it's not about men or women. She is an entity who is viewed as somebody who could be a threat. And with that comes a lot of emotions from the other side. It could be from your official, side. It could be your seniors. It could be your subordinates. Subordinates, no. In fact, I have always enjoyed extremely good equations with my, subordinates. But I think in the hierarchy, it is sometimes a disadvantage. And you start questioning, then you don't want to shine so much. You want to kind of take the back seat. And you realize that nothing really works. They will still try to get at you. They will still try to get at you. So that only time and life teaches you. And then I think you come into your own. Then you become unapologetic about it. So I am right now in that stage where I discovered my true power, as you say, the power. And I believe that it's something I'm born with. So I'm not going to shine a little less or be myself a little less just because it threatens you or it threatens your sense of existence. So I bring to the table a great sense of competency, a great field experience of 24 odd years in public service. There are very few bureaucrats in the country today who have the varied experience that I carry. I have worked as municipal commissioner, fledgling towns, and today they look like cities. I have carried good initiatives in the district as collector, where sometimes you just get bogged down by a regulatory framework. And I have the pride of those years behind me. So I am very unapologetic about what I am today, thanks to the people and thanks to their love. So I try and own up the people's officer.
అయితే స్మిత, జనరల్గా యాజ్ విమెన్ మనకు ఒక ఇన్నేట్ క్వాలిటీ ఉంటుంది. అదేంటంటే మీరు ఇందాక అన్నట్టు ఒక ఎంపతి, ఒక కన్సర్న్.
ఎంపతి, yes.
వి ఆర్ లిటిల్ ఇమోషనల్. దో మనం ఎంత పవర్ఫుల్ పొజిషన్లో ఉన్నా, దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ కేర్, కన్సర్న్, ఎంపతి, ఎమోషన్ దట్ సమ్టైమ్స్ డామినేట్స్. అండ్ ఎప్పుడైనా డిడ్ దట్ పుల్ యూ డౌన్? అంటే వే యూ టియరింగ్ అప్ when certain things happen to you which were not in your control?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, as we grew in the hierarchy, grew in our service, there were certain experiences which taught me that, like I said, that, that you are a threat. That's when also I reminded myself that because you are giving them that sense of having arrived, therefore that threat is coming, or therefore that attack is coming, or therefore that little, slander is coming to your way. So I think I'm very good at, prepping my own brain So I would remind myself that because you're important, therefore they are talking about you.
Yeah.
If you don't matter, possibly they wouldn't. And it really doesn't matter. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's just a little bit of a growing up. I think, we are of the same age almost. And you will agree with me that even in the media, you must have undergone a lot of initial struggles. And then the stereotypes are broken. After that, it doesn't really matter to you what people think, because your sense of purpose and your sense of contribution is much bigger than what the world wants you to be. See, the good people out there, at large, what I call the universal goodness is what always keeps, the truth alive. It keeps our efforts alive. It makes our work, worth it. And the rest of it is just doesn't matter.
Do you remember in your entire...
But yes, sometimes you're right. I mean, I'll not mince words here. The male ego is the male ego, whether, it is a work sphere or, in general in the world. And there's certain very patriarchal stereotypes, which is part of every society, not just ours, every society. So for women to constantly fight and push those boundaries, that is the process. That is the journey. Today I may be doing little bit, you are doing your little bit. Our mothers and grandmoms did much more than us. In fact, because of their sacrifices, today we are able to sit and have this conversation.
True.
So I think in every decade, in every generation, these mindsets have, been there. Let's not think for one moment that they did not exist in the past or they will not exist in the future. It's a very natural human, equation. So women have to constantly prove themselves in a man's world.
Were there any men, whether they are at home or in the career front or in your social sphere, who were really supportive of your talent or your accomplishments?
I'd say the majority of them, honestly. I mean, I'm very surrounded by very few people who truly know me or truly, are a part of my life. And I have extremely supportive people. My dad is the biggest example. He has always been very straightforward. And I think I'm largely my father. And he used to get into a lot of trouble in his army days. Yeah, because he was very outspoken. He was very straightforward.
So that came from him.
I think so. At least that's what my mom says. But she's no less either. So both ways. I have inherited a lot of, straightforward genes. I am not much of a manipulator. I can't play power games. I am what I am. And, it's very easy to read me. People who know me well say that, sometimes I am too straightforward. People who don't know me, I think they assume a lot of perceptions about me, but they're only perceptions. That's not the truth. I'm a very straightforward, simple person, not at all the powerful, whatever you people imagine me to be.
But still, other than your father?
My husband, of course. I mean, he's also a straight shooter like me. So he gets me. And at the same time, sometimes he's like, calm down. Don't push the... don't rock the boat so much. But I mean, I think a large part of my upbringing, the military background and being an army brat, these are things which you can't take out of you. Like you say, you can't take out the genetic thing.
But you have to regularly deal with the politicians and the ministers and the people in power, whoever forms the government.
True.
So how difficult is that?
It's not difficult. It's the job. Let me put it that way. It's just the job. It's like you're working in an ecosystem. And the whole purpose of a bureaucracy is to be an instrument of policy as we understand it. So this whole thing that people, sometimes I see a lot of comments on in newspapers and in the social media saying, bureaucrats are right and politicians are wrong. See, that's not the narrative. Narrative should be that they are the elected leaders. And whatever they believe is a priority for the public, it is our job to put them in some kind of a motion in terms of making that statement of intention into reality. That's the job. So we definitely have to work closely. We definitely have to understand each other's minds. And from my early days as, I would say at least from municipal commissioner days, I definitely tried to work very closely with the public representatives, whether they were corporators, whether they were MLAs, MPs. Of course, there are clashes once in a while because it's a clash of the mind, it's nothing more. Because sometimes you believe something is the right way to do a particular way. They may have a different opinion. So it's up to you how logically you can have that conversation. And if I look back and now think of almost 2 decades, there is no politician that I've really had a problem that I remember today, something happened. అలా ఏం లేదండి. అది కలిసిక పని చేయడం, ప్రజలకి ప్రయారిటీస్ మీద మనం పని చేయడం అనేది ఒక వర్క్ ఎథిక్ అనేది నేను ఎప్పుడో పాటిస్తాను. సో సిఎంఓలో ఉన్నప్పుడు కూడా దట్ వాస్ ది హోల్ ఇంటెన్షన్. And today also, in fact, Finance Commission, the role that I am, posted in today, I have a chairman and I have 3 members. And every day we work together. And I would say it's a very beautiful working ecosystem. And I am learning from them, they are learning from me. And when I see their enthusiasm, certain days there might be certain topics, because Finance Commission is a slightly more technical, field. It's about a lot of financial reforms and it's about devolution of powers, things which are not ground and field related. So I see their enthusiasm to learn, to come, to contribute, and they may not be really in that line for the last 20-30 years. So I find it very refreshing that we have definitely established that work, I would say that work ethic. Working with politicians to me has always been, I think, pretty comfortable.
Still all said and done, when you started it off way back 24 years
those times we were
ఇప్పటికి తేడా ఏముండింది
అప్పుడే we were very raw. అంటే అప్పుడే మనం ఏదో మేమే కరెక్ట్ అనేది అనుకునేవాడు when we were young. And also our training is little like that in the academy. Mana Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy lo the basic orientation is IAS versus. So when we come to the field, when we report to the states, the reality is different. If you want to become versus everybody, then you are not going to get anything done. It can't be about you. You are not like the most powerful instrument there. You have to work as an ecosystem, like I said. So that learning came with time. I have also had my set of initial clashes and initial transfers because I couldn't fit in. And then I learned slowly. It was not that they were always right or I was always wrong. Sometimes I have introspected. Maybe I could have done it differently. అంటే మీరు ఉన్నప్పుడే పని చేయొచ్చు కదా, మీరు అక్కడే లేరు అంటే ఏం చేస్తారు? సో ఆ లెసన్స్ అయితే మన ఫస్ట్ 10 yearsలో ఆ లెసన్ అండ్ సెట్టింగ్ అండ్ మెచ్యూరిటీ కమ్స్. That is why we become collectors little late. So I would say I started out differently, but today my state of mind is if there's a good leader, if there's a good leadership, and if there's a good bureaucracy, the 1 + 1 becomes 11, and that is the ultimate goal.
Why is it that administration lo unna officers, whether they're IPS, IAS, IRS, whoever they are, why is it sometimes politicized? Why is it that ఒక గవర్నమెంట్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఆ గవర్నమెంట్ తో అసోసియేట్ అయిన ఆఫీసర్స్ నెక్స్ట్ గవర్నమెంట్ రాగానే వేరే వాళ్ళు వస్తారు?
That is wrong.
ఎందుకు అట్లా? Why are the officers?
That is very, very wrong, and I would say it very categorically that is extremely incorrect. ఎందుకంటే you are career bureaucrats. You come for a span of 30-35 years. We will see many leaderships, we will see many changes, and you have to use the rich experience that we have to your advantage. As it is said in English, I'll quote saying, the best master is one who knows all his instruments, how to use his instruments. So then only he is a true master.
True.
Otherwise the instruments will control thing, or he will get overwhelmed with. So a true master is one who knows how to use every instrument, and we are all extremely capable, sharp instruments. So if the political leadership starts viewing us as assets and they don't allow little these silly undercurrents and all, if it's out of the way, then the bureaucracy can be a very, very powerful tool of performance. And I would appeal and pledge to all leaderships, why in my state, across India, pan India, the nature of the bureaucracy is such that we have no choice but to operate in whatever line and tone you set for those years that you are in power. Right? We cannot be viewed as anti-establishment and then suddenly you become pro-establishment. It doesn't work like that. Everybody is operating in some role. So to view people as ex-government, post-government, these are absolutely unnecessary. And I believe a solid waste of talent.
When you're operating for long years under one government,
yes, there's a perception. There's a perception.
Don't you get influenced towards the leaders or the government or their policies? You feel, oh my God, they're really doing such great work.
Okay, let me put it this way. See, when you are part of a movie and you're working, with a particular director or with a particular producer or with a set of actors, don't you get involved in the process? Don't you get involved? Aren't you committed to the, to the delivery of a beautiful hit movie?
True.
So somewhere can you in your brain think that, oh no, I should not be committed to the movie, I should not be committed to so and so. Doesn't work like that. Human intention is always wonderful and beautiful when it is committed. I'm putting it in a little philosophical way.
Yeah, got it. I got it. Mm.
Without commitment to any purpose in life, you will not be able to deliver. So I would say that whole association or commitment is not to the leader, it is to the purpose. If there is a certain set of schemes or a certain set of delivery items which the government wants, if the bureaucrat is truly committed to that only, he or she will deliver. In that process, if you think he is committed to the leader, then that's a problem of perception.
Okay. But why do we get to hear that most of these IAS officers at a point of time, after a point of time,
some of
they
them
get into politics?
Many of these IAS officers, maybe that is why this perception has come. They actually tend to align with some political parties. They will enter the so-called, they cross the Lakshman Rekha, and they enter that fine line where it's pure politics or, political ideology is their motivation. That is where the rest of us suffer. For the last 10 years, I'm hearing, madam, you will be joining politics. I have no idea why. Tell me one thing, have you seen me doing one political activity? Either in my work sphere or in my personal sphere? Then why this imagination? There are many aspiring politicians within the bureaucracy. Why don't you people focus on them? I don't know why the perception.
That's because of 10 long-standing years in the CMO.
Has it struck the media that it could be because you're very competent, that they couldn't find a replacement for you?
Yeah.
So वो सोचना मुश्किल है,
Yeah.
but लेकिन और सब कुछ सोचना आसान है.
Right.
It's each one's individual motivation. I am a very non-committed bureaucrat to any political ideology. That is my basic wiring. That will never change.
Okay.
I get happy to see a good leadership giving good schemes, a good vision, a good implementation for the public. And I will align with any leadership which is willing to do that. And I do have that thought process in terms of clarity today.
Okay.
To know that if it's a wonderful leadership which wants to deliver good results, if I'm not committed to that leadership, there's something wrong with me then. Then I'm not a true IAS officer. Then I'm just being a babu.
Yeah.
There's a difference. We call you guys call us babus for a reason.
Right.
Why babu? Because we're so status quo. We don't want change. We want to be all powerful. We want to hold the instrument of status quo. But I am not wired like that. I love change. I love transformative change. I am not the one to hold on to things. I want the results to reach the public. That's my orientation. Okay. So maybe I'm not a textbook. I'm a bit of a maverick, but that's how I am.
While climbing the ladder of power, whatever it is, from district collector to collector to the next to the secretary, whatever, that climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
Eppudaina, I'm sure you must have heard things like, oh, she had it her way. So
I've always had it my way.
And in a different way.
In a different way?
In a negative sense, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Oh, she had it her way. That's
Really?
the reason she climbed the ladder of power.
I'll tell you one thing, Prema, maybe that way we are luckier. In the administrative service, it's a very slow ascent. It's not a sudden rise of career. Okay. So everybody goes through the milestones. If you are sub-collector, then you become joint collector, then you become district collector, then you become additional secretary, then you become joint secretary. Smita Sabharwal didn't become additional secretary to CM before her time. She achieved the scale. She was conferred additional secretary to government before, she was taken to CMO. So what I mean to say is nothing came out of the line. There is a certain number of years which you have to give. So we have to mandatorily complete 14 years of service. I completed 14 years of service on January 2014. And it is June 9th that I became additional secretary to CM.
Yeah.
So nothing came out of line. We earned every stripe. We have earned every day in our careers. So when people talk nonsense, that is where I cut it. It is also your job as an officer, as a public servant, to keep raising your voice, to keep putting out the right narrative. You cannot shut out everybody's thought process. It's not in your control. But what I try to do personally is to sometimes correct a view or something which I believe is absolutely uncalled for. Yeah. It has always been my attempt. In fact, when you mentioned Outlook, the world has forgotten Outlook. But when Outlook happened, I didn't take it lying down. They tried to trivialize my appointment by putting out an extremely vulgar and concocted story, which I could not imagine. I was sleepless for nights, thinking, does society genuinely think like this? You have 15 years of hard work behind you. You are an all India ranker. What is so difficult to understand that you are being appointed in a CMO? Some strange imagination of somebody that because she is so and so. Arey, I am nobody. I don't have any caste equations. I don't have any mentors. I don't have any big family supporting me anywhere. I come from a simple, basic Fauji family. And I made it on the basis of my merit and my hard work. So for you to still think all those things, matlab, there's some problem with you. It's my attempt to sometimes correct that narrative. When I challenged Outlook and dragged them to court, it was my attempt to correct that narrative so that other working women don't, feel for one day that we should keep quiet. Arey, why should you keep quiet?
Right. But where do you get this strength from? How do you garner it? Because ఎవ్రీబడి ఆ పొజిషన్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి ఒక ఫియర్ ఉంటుంది. వై షుడ్ ఐ టేక్ ఆన్ దెమ్, లెట్ మీ బి సైలెంట్, it'll go on,
it'll die down,
and then it'll die down, time will heal, all these things will be brought up.
I think I'm a bit of a,
you're a rebel.
I'm a rebel. Someone joked with me the other day saying, ma'am, are you an alpha type? I said, I'm a sigma type. What is that supposed to mean? It means you are all alpha qualities, but you're also a little out of the race. You're out of the stereotype of a league or a hierarchy. You are a bit anti-establishment. You challenge stereotypes. I have always, in fact, for me, the only good thing about being in CMO was that I broke a glass ceiling. It was not about being powerful.
You were the first woman.
Yes, it was breaking a glass ceiling, and that gave me pride, thinking now millions of young girls can dream that there is no office in the world that you cannot enter. And if it's based on your hard work and your merit, then every door opens for you in the world. So I think in a very idealistic way. Yeah, but coming back to your question, where does the strength come from? Good genes, strong genes. Strong genes ensure good hard work, merit. If I don't speak today, frankly, if I don't speak today, and I'm in a privileged, place in society. You see, I'm not a struggling nobody. I am somebody who has a government appointment. I have the entire strength of the government machinery with me. I have a strength of public opinion. Today, if I don't use my position to make a right noise or to make a right statement, then what message am I giving out to other women? Because everybody is fighting their own battles. Maybe I think mine is a big one. I sometimes trivialize thinking, no, there are people who are fighting to survive.
Right.
They are victims of, terrible physical abuse, brutality, murders, rapes. And you are a very privileged person who's enjoying the privileges of life. So today, if you don't open your mouth and speak out and, say the right things, which you feel will make a change, at least in a thought process, then you are not being honest. So I intend to live my life a little honestly.
మీరు ఒకసారి ఒక మాట అన్నారు, అది నేను నా ఇంటర్వ్యూలోనే అన్నారు. అదేంటి అంటే, ఏమవుతుంది గట్టిగా ఒక మాట మాట్లాడితే ఇంజస్టిస్కి అగేన్స్ట్గా ఫైట్ చేస్తే ఎట్ ద మోస్ట్ ఏమవుతుంది, ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ అవుతుంది. అంతే కదా, బియాండ్ దట్ ఏం అవ్వదు కదా అని అన్నారు మీరు ఒకసారి. బట్ చాలా మంది ఆఫీసర్స్ ఈ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్స్కి భయపడే మాట్లాడరు. నిజం. ఎందుకు అంటే దే వాంట్ టు బీ ఇన్ అ గుడ్ పొజిషన్. Tell me, Smita, being in the CMO, in the secretary position, now you are in the finance commission as a secretary.
ట్రాన్స్ఫర్స్ కి అందరికి భయం
అవుతుంది, భయం ఉంటుంది. సో మీకు లేదా? ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్, భయం అంటే నా మీనింగ్ మీకు లేదా? అరే నన్ను ఇక్కడ లూప్ లైన్ లో పడేశారు, నాట్ సో డిజర్వింగ్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ నన్ను వేసేసారు అన్న ఒక భయము. లెట్ మీ షట్ మై మౌత్, వై షుడ్ ఐ టాక్ అబౌట్ ఆల్ దిస్, ఐల్ బి స్కేలింగ్ అప్, వన్ డే ఐల్ బికమ్ ద చీఫ్ సెక్రటరీ. సో ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయి కదా కోరికలు ఎవరికైనా.
ఉంటుంది 100%. 100%. You have entered a job with certain dreams and desires. But the job is not life, kada. The job is not life. It's a very small part of your identity as a person. Smita Sabharwal is bigger than just being an IAS officer. She is somebody who has a life. She has her opinions. And the day that I feel this service is an impediment to me being me, I will not hesitate to walk away. Today I value it because it gives me the biggest platform in this country to serve people. But it cannot be a source of, impediment, no. అండ్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్స్ ప్రేమ ఏం చెప్పాలి అసలుగా, మేము చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి ప్రతి 1 yearలో ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ అయ్యాము. సో మనది మిలిటరీ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్, ప్రపంచంలో లేనిపోని అన్ని ప్లేసెస్లో మేము ఉన్నాము. సో మాకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్కి ఏం భయం ఉంటుంది? ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ మై part of my problem. So even in field, I was never really scared of. To me, you see, Telangana, I love, I own it up as my home state. But I am a Bengali, born and brought up in all parts of India. I have lived in Gangtok in Sikkim. I have lived in the Northeast. I have lived in the West. I have lived in the other cities in the South. So I have lived in Ladakh, 7-year-old little child. I used to run up and down the hills. So to me, a sense of freedom is bigger than all these little worldly things. Okay. And the beauty is people are the same everywhere. I must add that. If we think, we live in the best place in the world, if you go to Ladakh, if you go to Gujarat, you go to Northeast, you will find equally loving, equally sweet, equally good human beings. So that is what I meant, the universal truth of, goodness.
మీరు చాలా కాలం సోషల్ మీడియాలో లేరు. యు ఆర్ అవే ఫ్రమ్ సోషల్ మీడియా.
I didn't know about social media.
Right.
I didn't know.
కొంతకాలంగా మాత్రం మీరు X, Twitter లో,
2020,
Instagram.
2020, I entered the party.
And you put the Instagram on fire.
I entered the party late.
You entered the party late.
Yeah, but with a bang.
You made an impact at the bang. You've got so many followers.
Yeah.
And you are creating an impact. You're not there just for the sake of it. Creating an impact, creating a different narrative. A narrative that has a purpose, that empowers. Right. So that is more important. So when you entered Twitter, what was your main thought process, ideology?
I think I'm a creative person, and I wanted my social media to reflect the person that I am, not the IAS officer that is already known.
Not the person that people perceive.
Yeah, that too.
Right.
Because I never understood why people perceive you as, a certain way, because I'm not really, see, that's the funny part, the other day some media house was interviewing me and they were saying, Amma, మీరు ఎప్పుడో న్యూస్ లో ఉంటారు. I said, మీరు నాకు ఒకటి చెప్పండి, 24 సంవత్సరంలో have I done anything or uttered anything which is out of line, out of character, out of decency, indecency, or have I, tried to make anything sensational? Never. You guys have kept me in the news. You catch on to every small thing that you think is, news.
Yeah.
And thanks to that, you have made your own image of me. So maybe my social media handle or social media entry was to reflect the true character of what I am.
Yes.
The people who want to understand you, who want to take inspiration from you, will look at you and take it. I would presume that most of my followers, most of them are civil service aspirants, many youngsters who in today's world are having so many options. Some of them could be doctors, engineers, and software, and numerous roles. ఈ రోజు అసలుగా లేని careers అంటే మాకు తెలియదు, కొన్ని సగం పేర్లు నాకు తెలియదు, మీడియా, advisors, and so many things. So they want to see somebody, a woman who's made her journey. And they want to take inspiration from you. So I am hoping that my social media handle is an inspiration to all the youngsters who want to make a career based on merit. And nothing else is my inspiration to create sensationalism or whatever. See, I post pictures of myself because I love dressing up.
Right.
It's very much part of my personality, I'm a creative person. I love taking good pictures and whatever. So an IAS officer need not be only boring.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So XK, I'm a little bit more committed. I try to, if something important is happening, or something good work I'm doing, or I feel that, some issue is happening, I try to always put my little 2 cents there. But Instagram, I just literally do time pass.
Instagram is for time pass. But X గురించి మాట్లాడుకుంటే ఒక 1.5 year గా మీరు పెడుతున్న కొన్ని స్ట్రాంగ్ ఒపీనియన్స్, ద పోస్ట్, అవి కొన్ని ఫ్లేర్ అప్ అయ్యాయి, కొన్ని బ్యాక్లాష్ అయినాయి మీకు. But you stood your ground. You fought it out.
Yeah. It's an opinion, Andy. That is what social media is meant for. It's not that you're going to change the policy or change the act or change the rule or change the law. No. But it is your personal opinion on some aspect of policy or some aspect of society which I feel strongly about. You see, I am not a person who will comment on everything. Daily commentary పెట్టడం, daily ఏదో జరుగుతున్నాయని దాని గురించి చెప్పడం కాదు. నాది ఇంట్రెస్ట్ కూడా నాకు లేదు. కానీ some issues where I feel strongly, something has touched my core, some incident which reminds me that this is not right. I speak then, and then it is unhinged and unfiltered. I think people are beginning to see the actual person thanks to that, and I'm quite comfortable with that. I mean, recently I got into a little bit of backlash, as you rightly said, over a disability quote.
Yeah.
But you see, my intention, I'm saying this on camera for the first time, was to talk about my service. The Indian Administrative Service is a service which demands a high level of physical, mental, and emotional, commitment. And I in no way think that anybody is less or more. That's not the intention. But what I have understood after many years is that if you don't have all the three and you're not willing to run, not willing to put yourself in that, scenario, or something is limiting you, it could be the physical, attributes, then something suffers. So I put it out clearly with an intention to create the logic that the IAS, like the IPS or the IFS, is a service of highly demanding nature. It's not about being brilliant, and the wrong impression. People think, oh, IAS officer ante chala brilliant untadu, chala chadivi untadu. It's a service where you need to do hard work, dogged hard work, physical hard work. You have to be up on your feet for 24 hours sometimes. You have to travel long distances. మీ జిల్లాలో ఎప్పుడైనా వరద వస్తే, ఏదైనా వస్తే, యాక్సిడెంట్ జరిగితే, బ్యాడ్ సిచ్యువేషన్ ఉంటే, you are the first responder. You have to rush, you have to gather your machinery, you have to be able to take control. You are a leader, a grassroots, immediate instrument of delivery. For that, in my opinion, you need to be very fit in every which way. So I made it in that perspective.
I
because
understand.
recently,
But the disabilities people narrative enti ante, do you deprive us of reaching to a position where we want to?
And their aspiration is absolutely justified.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. In fact, the government policy today permits them to aspire.
Yeah.
And I only questioned the policy. I didn't question their desire. And like I said, I would be a fool to believe that all able-bodied people are doing wonderfully, and they have nothing like that. And able-bodied fellows, వాళ్ళందరూ మంచిగా పని చేసి ఉంటే మా దేశం ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఎక్కడ పోయేది. ఓకే, సో అది అయితే డిస్కషన్ పాయింటే కాదు. కానీ I meant in the recent light of the controversy that disability certificates being misused, and a lot of people who are faking things entering the system. I meant it in that context, in the limited context. I have some extremely good officers in various departments I have seen who with any form of smaller motor locomotive disabilities, they are outstanding officers. Then dan gurinchi asaluga cheppaledu. So it was little out of context. Maybe my explanation was not up to the mark, but literally I have no intention to hurt.
The court has dismissed it.
The court only upheld the freedom of speech. They didn't agree with me or disagree with me. They upheld my right to freedom of speech.
And the second one is about the Olympics. You stood by her. Whether she got the medal or not, that is immaterial.
I think entire country stood with her.
Exactly. But again, it is about the person, people in power.
Yes.
Normally they don't want to talk. They don't want to enter into that sphere where it gets
it could go whichever way
or controversial.
No, I truly admire the human spirit. Deep in my heart, I have always been like, if you ask me what I watch on Netflix or sometimes in my spare time, I watch a lot of stories about human resilience, human spirit. The story of where everybody is not with you, but you have to fight your own battle. You are celebrated finally. But before that, what is the journey? Before that, when you're on your own, when no one is cheering for you, nobody's clapping for you, nobody's giving you a medal. Those are the days, or those are the years when true human spirit is cultivated. And I have always been a fan of those stories. And for me, standing up for some people may be just a reflection of that. Today the lady has become an MLA. She has, I think, won the election. So, hats off to her. Hopefully she'll do good work, as a politician. But the fact that she challenged the system on something which was a personal fight, I think the whole country stood with her. And I'm no different.
And the most important pointer is about you being in the government now, in the Finance Commission. You are an officer. You spoke against a minister in the government.
No, I think I spoke against a person who is in a responsible position and whose words and narrative can influence public opinion. You see, it's not about individuals here. It is about what kind of narrative is going out to the society. Today, a lot of people, the Honorable Minister has a lot of fan following. and she is in a position to influence a thought process in society. I wouldn't bother if it is some Tom, Dick and Harry on the road saying something. It won't bother me. But if it's somebody in a responsible position, power has to be with great responsibility. Responsibility of speech, responsibility of action, responsibility of thought. Now, where there's a slip of everything, it can send out a very wrong signal to society. And I think, like I said, my core nature is to always question things which are out of line. And it was in that regard. I wasn't supporting or not supporting anybody. I really don't care about any of the characters in that story. I have no idea about the film world and who said what about who. And I have zero interest. My objection was, and I said it so in my tweet, that as women, we should not be clickbaits.
Yes.
We should not be people who are used for, an instant, this thing, ki acha, dekhte hain kya, whatever. It can't be sensationalism. There are very true ethics in the world. Hard work, competency, merit, knowledge. Respect those ethics. That is what you pass on to your next generation. If it's all going to be all this thing, then I'm sorry, but that's not the world you want to see your children live in tomorrow.
By posting that line that women are
clickbaits, yeah.
I'm sure on and off you've been also.
Always. I was surprised to see, I'll tell you, in November, December last year to almost March and April of this year, I have seen millions of YouTube videos about me with different images. And you click them and see ki kya baat kare. Kuch bhi nahi hai. Nothing in it, but your picture is
There'll
there.
Be a thumbnail.
There'll be a thumbnail and it says, SS did this or SS. अरे कुछ नहीं भी किया तो भी आप लोग thumbnail बनाते हो. Why? Because your name people want to click. So that somewhere deep down it disturbed me, thinking that they're not even sparing an IAS officer. So what would be happening to the rest of the world? Professional women working in maybe entertainment industry, working in the hotel management industry, working in IT. उनका क्या होता होगा अगर हमारा ये हाल है? So I have spoken from that perspective कि stop using women as your thumbnails and clickbaits, because every woman who's standing out there, trust me, she is, if not more, she is as competent as any of the men, and it takes a lot more for a woman to stand there, in a man's world. She would have come from much more sacrifice, much more discipline, much more personal determination than any man can imagine. So don't trivialize our journey is what I wanted to actually
That's amazing,
say.
Smita. And I remember how very often, if not very often, at least on and off, you've also been a prey of this scandalizing, slandering you.
Yeah. Sometimes you get pushed into that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll be pushed into a corner where you need to get up and talk about it.
Actually, in my case, I don't need much provocation. I am generally firebrand. But also, I must credit the, my various people for continuously provoking me.
Yeah.
No, but it's all good, Prema. See, I don't take anything that seriously. I have a very centered inside, and my heart is with, always the people, that person who really needs you, the person who's looking for good services from the government. So my thought process is aligned to them. तो ये जो इकोसिस्टम है बीच में ना, वो मुझे ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता. आप लोग ही कभी कभी हमको सेंसेशनलाइज करते हो, सो हमको कुछ करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ती है, But again, coming from more serious space, see, I am an outspoken person and I know it, and people think twice before messing with me. But there are a lot of good, very, very calm, very composed, very soft-spoken officers who are also being subjected to this nonsense.
Yes.
And just because they're keeping quiet doesn't mean that they don't feel the pain. Okay, recently I saw on TV some TV spokesperson, some channel. He was trivializing 2-3 collectors in his talk. I don't want to name the guy. They were lady IAS officers. He trivialized 3 of them in one statement. They were very upset. Now, will they go and make a noise? They may not, because it is maybe not in their nature.
Yeah.
They may be more forgiving, they may be more composed. But is it right? They are authority figures in their district. So, this is the narrative I'm talking about. And for me, I think it comes little easily. मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा सोचना नहीं होता है. It comes, and I can't control it, by the way. It's not like I think about it. Like, I'm typing out some tweet and thinking, अरे डालूं नहीं डालूं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. वो कब डल जाता है मुझे पता भी नहीं है. उसके 3 घंटे बाद पता चलता है कि
अरे I put it up already
and
on
then,
air.
And then your WhatsApp is filled with all kinds of things and you're like, oh shit, I think I've done something again. So my realization always comes a little later. But there is no thought I have put out without thinking. I am not impulsive at all. Everything is thought through. I find it surprising to see the reaction because I'm like, isn't that the truth? Isn't that obvious? Why are people, reacting to this? Because isn't this what everybody's thinking? So sometimes to me, it's a what to say. I mean, I get surprised to see the outrage because I'm like, what are you outraged about?
Right.
There are bigger things happening in the world for you to be outraged about, not my opinion. There could be crime happening. There could be, discrimination happening. Why don't you outrage on that? I am talking from a position of an opinion which is coming from a field experience. उतना trivial नहीं है, उतना impulsive नहीं है. So आपको समझ नहीं आया तो वो आपकी problem है, लेकिन वो सच है. That is a reality. So I don't get too caught up in my own thing and I do it a little. I'm little, as they say, trigger happy. Being a 4G brat, trigger happy. But yeah, people are little. I mean, I do also get a lot of praise for it from a lot of individuals. So sweet. I get a lot of praise from veterans. Let me share this on camera. A lot of Air Force officers, Army officers, old bureaucrats, 70s batch, 60s batch. I have seen beautiful texts from the older generation saying that, Smita, what you said has truth in it. But be careful, Talli.
Yeah.
Don't be that trigger happy also.
Okay.
So, but when you have the blessings of the older generation, I feel that I can't be that wrong.
You're not bothered about you scaling heights or, you getting to the next power.
Who is a human being to decide which height you will scale?
Right. No, I'm talking about the power.
Again, on a philosophical note, everybody's journey is set by some force. When I came into this world and I was destined with a purpose, no human being can change that purpose. Until the end of my career, and I know very well that I will die in saddle. I'm saying it this again on camera today, that there will be never a day in my life when I will be without work. I'll probably have to work hard the rest of my life. So no human being can change your destiny. No human being can change the course of what you're meant to do. But you must be true to your sense of journey. So इतना career के बारे में उतना सोच के ज़रूरत भी नहीं है.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You don't think about your career or scaling heights, but there is a person in you which gets hurt, obviously. When you're scandalized for the things that you're not.
That
especially the recent burglary that happened in your house.
That was not even a burglary. Some guy just broke in and came. It was not a burglary. Nothing happened. It was just somebody who broke in and came and left, and I kind of took care of the situation. But I saw a lot of stuff on social media later which was unrelated.
Yes.
So did it hurt me? No. I was just thinking what kind of... And no, is that the common public opinion? No. See, you must have the intellect and the grace to understand what is a genuine opinion and what is a manufactured, few paid tweets by few jobless fellows who have nothing better to do. वो differentiation आपको समझना ज़रूरी है. अगर वो differentiation आपको नहीं मालूम तो आप social media में मत रहो. You should have the maturity to understand what is a genuine public opinion and take it seriously because you're not always right.
And ignore the noise.
The noise could be paid noise. So that little intelligence you should have.
ఇప్పుడు your daughter.
She was actually
studying.
Yeah.
కానీ మీరు పొజిషన్ ఆఫ్ పవర్ లో ఉన్నారు, మీరు పబ్లిక్ గ్లేర్ లో ఉన్నారు, పబ్లిక్ స్పేస్.
So in that incident, by the way, sharing this again, she was, she heard the intruder go upstairs. And she obviously got up in bed and she was, she's almost, she's a grown-up kid now. And when I came down and I, assured her later, after the incident was over, she was shivering. So I said, Bubis, are you okay? She's like, Mama. And she has a great sense of humor, that child. And, when she calmed down, then she says, Mama, I thought, this fellow is so dead. He's so dead. He's going upstairs to Mama. She's going to kill him. She's going to kill him. So I couldn't help but burst out laughing, thinking, look at her sense of humor.
Yeah.
So there was a real situation in the house. Anything could have happened. But my child was so strong to be able to deal and be with me and have the confidence that my mom can deal.
Yeah.
No worries. So I think that is the little things you learn in life. Everything which puts you in a situation of test is always a great learning. It's always a great resilience.
Right.
So it also made me aware that our sense of public safety is a perception. Women must take precautions to be safe. And I mean physical safety.
Yeah.
You must lock your doors, you must check everything, you must not trust कि सब कुछ ठीक है. Complacency नहीं होना है for physical safety. आप कोई भी हो सकते हो, but you must be very, very sure of your physical safety.
సో ఆ ఇన్సిడెంట్ తర్వాత మీకు ఒక అవేకనింగ్ లాగా వచ్చింది.
100% అండి.
హౌ కుడ్ యూ నాట్ లాక్ యువర్ డోర్స్ విత్
That night, one night,
ఉంటారు కదా జనాలు.
yeah, actually I kind of was a little careless that day. My staff, possibly somebody was tired. You know, I don't want to blame people because ultimately your safety is your personal responsibility. But yes, we slipped up that day, and it was just bad luck that that person just was hanging around and decided to intrude. But like I said, after that lesson learned, number one, I taught my children about physical safety. And it could be a stalker, it could be anybody. So later on, then I had to download certain apps for my child. Be careful. You see anything suspicious, don't take it for granted. So what I'm trying to say to all mothers is that boys or girls or yourself, your sense of perception ki I'm safe is just in your head. It's not real. So it's not that you have to be obsessive, but you must be real. And when you're traveling, take care of your personal safety. Whatever apps you need, download it, use it, test it once in a while. And the world is not such a fair place, and whatever we may assume. And growing girls, young girls, they need to be taught early in life. So I think that incident helped my kid. It shook my faith a bit ki what's going on in this world, but it taught her very early ki not to take anything for granted.
So ఇన్ని years into bureaucracy, into service, ఎప్పుడైనా అనిపిస్తుందా అంటే కొంచెం ఈ యూపీఎస్సీ ప్యాటర్న్, ఈ సర్వీసెస్ ప్యాటర్న్, లేకపోతే ఇప్పుడు జరుగుతున్న ఏదైతే సిస్టమ్ ఉందో ఇందులో కొన్ని మార్పులు రావాలి, కొన్ని రిఫార్మ్స్
చాలా మార్పులు రావాలి
అనిపిస్తుంటదా? ఇన్నేళ్ళు ఉన్నారు కదా, యూ మస్ట్ హావ్ అబ్జర్వ్డ్, యూ మస్ట్ హావ్ హ్యాడ్ యువర్ ఓన్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much. I wish one day I'm given some role or some opportunity to change the recruitment process, because honestly the kind of requirements which was there 20 years 30 years back and the requirements of today is completely different.
Okay, like what?
First of all, domain knowledge. Okay, see, we are recruited very early. Most of us enter in our early 20s. And we come from generalist backgrounds, like we come from BCom degrees, some of us come from engineering degrees. So but when you enter the service, maybe the first few years is a very general nature of job. But after that, you start heading important domains. By domain, like say, let me give you an example, health sector. So does it mean that an IAS officer should have a doctor's degree? No. But the IAS officer should have enough knowledge, enough idea about the latest and the best, practices in public health care to be able to deliver as an officer.
Okay.
And the basic nature of your job is not like that. You are in the field the first 10 years, you are being sub-collector, joint collector, collector. There is a generalist nature. So you don't have the time to work on those skills, but suddenly you become secretary health. So as secretary health, how much do you know about health? So what I'm trying to say, short of it, is that there should be mid-career trainings, or there should be some time in our careers where we are forced to choose that for the rest of my 25 years, I will stick to certain domains. Maybe I can pick whatever I want. I could pick infrastructure, I could pick municipal, I could pick panchayat raj, I could pick health and nutrition. But for that thing that I pick, I should be given the most advanced training for a year, 2 years in the best of the colleges in the world, and equip me to serve you better. And then for the next 20 years, I should be made to stick to those domains. Then I should not become one day secretary coal and one day secretary defense and then third day secretary something else. So these are the changes which I feel as a very mid-career bureaucrat, which I think is a need of the hour, because knowledge is power. Knowledge is performance. It's not because you are IAS, therefore you are great. No, atla kadandi.
Other than that, recently I've seen one of your comments about lateral entry.
Lateral entry. Oh, you're really following my handle.
Yes, of course, I'm your follower.
Okay.
So what does?
I meant that.
Yeah.
Lateral entry is a wonderful concept because it allows people with that specialization, that domain expertise to enter into the policy and leadership roles. So when government rolled it back, I was a little disappointed because I thought it was a wonderful thing. And it also keeps us on our toes, We have to be always aware that there's competition. So I have to be secretary health and I should be the best secretary health out there who knows everything about the domain. He or she knows the technology gap. He or she knows the policy gap, implementation gap. Anni telusukovali. Adi undalante sare, if you are coming from some specialist domain, say you are a doctor or you are somebody who's been in health sector for last 15 years, completely dedicated to health sector, definitely you will have more knowledge kada.
Absolutely.
So it is a sense of competition for me as an IAS officer. That is what I meant. Okay. That if that is allowed, I will also work on myself. I will also try to learn better. Putting it very harshly, there are three things which IAS officers suffer from. What I have observed is indifference, indifference leading to ignorance, ignorance leading to incompetence.
Exactly.
So ఈ మూడు సైకిల్ ఫార్ములా బ్రేక్ చేయాలంటే there should be lot of infusion of skills, infusion of knowledge at regular intervals. Nobody is born with everything. At a very young age, we only display a potential to perform. But you must work upon us so that we perform better for you. And the IAS officers may, I'll not say all, and most people, 80% will agree with me, but there might be a section of people who feel that why do we need training?
Exactly.
Why do we need that? I'm qualified, I am kada. Kani adi koncham, it's not a practical thought in today's day and world, where technology is changing every day. So if you don't keep up, then you will be left behind. And who suffers? Your community suffers, your nation suffers, your country suffers. So they can't get rid of you till you are 60 years. They signed up and invested in you. At least you should be able to give back. So I meant it from that perspective. Today the youth are very educated, and they want to look up and they want to see that government is delivering what they want, not that archaic system of civil services.
బట్ ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రాస్పెక్షన్ చేసుకున్నప్పుడల్లా మిమ్మల్ని మీరు మీకు ఏమనిపిస్తుంది అంటే ఈ డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ 1, 2, 3, 4 ఇలాంటి డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ అయితే ఐ కెన్ రియలీ డూ అ వండర్ఫుల్ వర్క్ అండ్ ఫర్ ద పీపుల్ అని అనిపించిన డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ ఏమైనా
అంటే
ఉన్నాయా?
core, see, there are always core sectors which which impact people's life.
which you can,
I am a generalist. Again, I will qualify again saying that I am not even a postgraduate. I entered very early. I was just a graduate, and I am still a generalist. I am not a specialist, but I have quick ability to learn,
okay, and
quick ability to grasp things beyond my domain. So even when I was secretary to CM, I have overseen a lot of different domains: water infrastructure, irrigation projects, and health, especially the engineering side of things. I was made to learn quickly and all. So I'm a good learner. So I will say you put me in anything, I'll do well. Wow. But the sectors which have core impact for public are usually health, usually nutrition, education. These are core sectors. The rest, everything, society takes care. But welfare sector is the primary responsibility of an elected government. So to have good schools which have good learning outcomes. Good schools ante manchi painted building kaadu. Learning outcome undali. Pillalu aadipothe meeku last lo result lo kanapadali a performance. They should be able to compete with any private competitive exam. So good schools, good residential facilities, good primary health centers, good sub centers, good agricultural training centers. These are core impact areas, So I would always treasure being in a role where I can impact results to the ground. In fact, all my collectorships were known for those kind of initiatives only.
I'm just awe of you. But tell me, Smita, I want you to tell something to all those women out there who still feel that they are less empowered. They are not where they have to be. Sometimes they pull themselves down.
True.
They feel that they can't take the next step. అలాంటి వాళ్ళకి మీరు ఏం చెప్తారు Smita?
See, I'll only say one thing to all the mothers, to all my sisters, to all the wonderful women. You are born a woman, first of all. You have been given the power by the universe to be able to, bring a child to life.
Yes.
So, I can't imagine more strength than that. And when I see very normal people, mothers running in the morning, making tiffin, sending their child to school, coming back, keeping on the phone, checking ki kya ho raha hai, coming back home, making dinner. You are the universe, you are Shakti. So never ever, think that you are, in fact, you are the most powerful thing that the universe has created. And the only thing that you have to do is to put yourself first. Occupy the space. Don't try to give away your space or your role to XYZ. No. You are a mother, yes. You are a wife, yes. You are you aspire to have a dream, have that dream. Today, you don't have to be an IAS officer or an engineer or a doctor only. The world has opened up, you see. There are e-commerce platforms. If you are skilled, if you're willing to learn a skill, willing to experiment, willing to take little bit of trouble. And women by nature are very, very dedicated.
Correct.
Resilient untadu, disciplined untadu. ఏదో నేర్చుకోవాలంటే మీరు చూడాలి మన గ్రామాల్లో పోతే ఆ పొదుపు సంఘాల మహిళలు ఒక స్కిల్ చెప్తే వాళ్ళు 3 months లో మీకే బెస్ట్ డిజైనర్స్ కంటే బట్టలు తయారు చేసి ఇస్తారు. హ్యాండ్లూమ్ పీపుల్స్, సో విమెన్ బై నేచర్, బట్ ఓన్లీ థింగ్ ఇస్ యూ షుడ్ రికగ్నైజ్ యూ హ్యావ్ దట్ డ్రీమ్. మీకు ఆ ఒకటి కోరిక ఉండాలి. purpose. We started the interview with purpose. I want to repeat here that sense of purpose must be understood by you. If your purpose is only to make your child stiffen or make the child happy for the day or to see your child getting married, that is not a purpose. With or without you, the child will do all those things. And you are only an instrument, that's it, for the child to come into the world. But you have to have your sense of purpose. And if anyone is discouraging you, please shut out the noise. That is a journey which every woman undertakes. Don't think that Smita Sabharwal had it easy. For all my privileges, I also had to walk the balancing path between being a mother, being a wife, being an officer, and trying to put my little pieces of me everywhere. And there were times when my parents also questioned my priorities, saying, why is that so important and not so important? That is a time when you must take a step back and first of all rationalize. Think, are you wrong? Are you right? Are you overstepping? And if you believe whatever you are doing is giving you joy, giving you pride, giving you a sense of identity, stick with it. Then please shut out the noise. And if you can do it for a period of 5 to 6 years, you are done. Uske baad there is no looking back. So that is my message to Mahilal Andarki. There is no bigger force than you. You have to know your purpose. And you have to walk your own dream path, whatever it may be, small or big. It is a man's world. We have to negotiate and, make our way.
Thank you so much, Smita. But
it was lovely chatting. Oh, no. Last time you made me sing, my God.
For Durgashtami, for this Navami, you need to sing at least either a Bengali song is also fine.
You should have given me a heads up. Yeah, this is not fair.
Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes time now.
Prema, I've actually been suffering from viral. Voice is not good.
Okay.
So I don't want to be a damn squib and do some bad singing because I'm a Hindustani classical trained singer. So you have to give me one more opportunity and one more interview and I will sing properly.
Done.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm thinking I want to share something with you all because you asked me the last question about the women and how they should. So I have been listening to the shloka from Lakshmi. And there are 1 or 2 lines which give me a lot of peace in some of the moments when we all need that little inspiration, a little pick-me-up kind of thing. So can I just share that with you?
Please.
Yeah?
Please.
So next time I'll sing it for you.
Done.
Okay.
पंकजवासिनि देव सुपूजित सद्गुणवर्षिणि शान्तियुते
जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि लक्ष्मी जय मालयवा.
Thank you so much, Smita, for doing this today with me. And I have a gift hamper for you from
my
Planet
God.
Green. So
sweet.
thank you
And
so much.
through you, let me wish all the wonderful women out there a lot of strength, lot of happiness, lot of good health, and Batukamma, Navaratri, Anni, Sambaralu, Baga, Ghananga, Jaragalanedi, Ashistu. Thank you so much, Prem.
More power to you.
Thank you.
Gift hamper from Planet Green. So this is
So
into
beautiful.
sustainability these days.
I love green plants. In fact, I'm a very avid gardener, so this is so pretty. Thank you
And these
so
are
much.
all organic.
Thank you. Thank you, Prema.
Thank you.
And wishing you also loads of successful interviews with lots of inspiring people because we all love to watch you and,
so much.
take
Thanks a
the
lot.
whole woman power brigade forward. So, thank you.
Thank you.